Hola, Vardians. Here's a question for the day. When was the first educational program created for occupational therapists? Is it A, 1850, B, 1867, C, 1915, or D, 1994? The answer will be at the end of the episode. Enjoy! Hey y'all, I hope you're well. Welcome to another episode of Healthcare Boulevard. This is a podcast where we shine more light on healthcare, and our goal here is to provide more options to people looking to choose healthcare as a career path, regardless of their background. My name is Sena Kakpomo, and I am your host and creator here. I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Remember, you can tune in on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Healthcare Boulevard, welcome back. This is another interview. Interestingly, about this one, I'm recording straight from my work office. And Calvin, who's joining me today, is an occupational therapist, and he's so nice and so flexible. And I really appreciate him for putting up with my shenanigans. Calvin,
Of
welcome to
course.
Healthcare Boulevard. How you doing?
Thank you for having me, Sana. I'm doing great.
Oh, good. So Calvin is already an occupational therapist, but he's still in school, and we are just discussing this before we started recording because he's getting his doctorate degree. So he's a full-blown occupational therapist because you graduated, you got your license and everything, but you're like, I don't want to just be Calvin. I want to be doctor. Okay. I want to be a doctor out here on the street. So you are here getting your doctorate, and I appreciate that. And I'm rooting for you. You're almost done.
Thank
Um,
you.
so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I, like San said, I feel like that was already the introduction. You've already introduced me. But I am Calvin. I'm an occupational therapist. And like San said, I'm not currently in direct patient care at the moment. And that's really mostly because I'm currently a full-time doctoral student and resident trying to get my doctorate degree, specifically at the University of Southern California. So that's where I'm at. And I finished the degree this year, 2022, August.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that, hopefully I'll be able to go out and practice.
So did you go to USC as well for your master's
I
in
did.
OT? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so what is your journey like becoming an OT from
Uh-huh.
from when you were a little wee bit?
I know. Yeah. It,
So what first of all, what how did you hear about the profession of occupational therapist? Because I feel like it's one of those, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's one of those professions that are not at the forefront of people when they think about healthcare professionals. So how did you hear about it, and how did you decide to become an OT?
yeah, definitely. So I found out about it, I guess, pretty early on. I found out about it during my senior year of high school.
Okay.
And so that was really because during my senior year, we had this senior project for one of my classes, and it was based on like future careers. But I
Mm-hmm.
had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't even get into college yet, so I had no idea. But my friend who was in the class with me, she said, I think you would be a really good fit for occupational therapy. And I had no idea what it was.
Very well.
Yeah, but her cousin was an occupational therapist, and we didn't live too far away. And so for the project, I asked if I could interview her cousin. And really, like, long story short, like the way she talked about OT and like the way she expressed herself really sold it to me. I really enjoyed it. And in the beginning, I kind of knew I had a general idea. I wanted to be in healthcare. I wanted to help people. I just didn't know how to. And so when I heard about OT that way, um, I really liked it. It really resonated with me, the work that's being done by them. And so after that, I just went straight to undergrad. I went to UC San Diego, and occupational therapy isn't really a major that's offered at a lot of universities. So it wasn't offered at UCSD at least. And so I had to kind of pick something else. So I chose psychology. And that was really because a lot, like half the prerequisites for OT schools were very focused on psychology courses. And so I thought I might as well. And then that experience happened. So I graduated from my bachelor's in psychology. And then my senior year of college, I was applying during that cycle for OT school. And I only applied to USC that year, but I got rejected actually. So I didn't get in, and that it really like broke my heart, but it gave me a chance to do a gap year, which I don't regret at all.
Okay.
I feel like people should definitely take advantage of a gap year if they're
Yeah.
able to, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took that gap year. I had some fun. I also like got to work, get some volunteer experience, really like remind myself why I want to do OT and like improve myself as a person and as an applicant. And so I applied again for the next cycle. I applied to more schools just to like really give myself more opportunities and
Options, right.
chances. Yeah. And I was accepted into all the schools except USC again. I was waitlisted.
You really was playing with your heart.
I know. it was really hard for me because I knew deep down in my heart I wanted to go to USC. And I was very grateful to have gotten into the other programs.
Right.
But my heart was like, just wait, like wait for USC, just wait. And so I waited, and then it was kind of last minute, but I got off the wait list. And ever since then, that's kind of how the journey has been going. I got my master's after 2 years, and now I'm in my doctorate.
Okay, that's a journey. It's funny because it's very similar to so many, I would say, healthcare professional where it's like you have to apply and you get in, and you have to think about it, like, okay, how hard do I want to do this? Stay determined and make the best of the time you have when you didn't get in, and it's definitely some level of roller coaster in in our story, right?
Oh yeah.
So what are some of the requirements for you to even be an applicant, a legitimate applicant for an OT school?
Yeah, so I think general requirements would be to have a bachelor's degree from college, and also to the prerequisites different between every program, but I feel like generally they all kind of require like developmental psychology courses, something about the lifespan and lifespan development. And there's other like human anatomy and human physiology. I think those were like the most common that I saw across all the schools that I had applied to. And so it's kind of just like taking those courses, passing those courses and kind of having those fulfilled. And then there's essays for some schools, and those of course differ too. But the really general one that came from kind of there's like one general application website. It's called OTCAS. I'm sure like a lot of other health professions have the same thing. It's like something CAS.
We have the PA CAS.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's where all the information is. And it's like the personal statement for that was really, I don't know exactly what it was, but it was basically like, why do you want to do OT? What's the reason? Why do you feel like you should be in the programs that you're applying to, kind of thing?
So do most or a lot of OT programs require or enjoy having an applicant who has clinical experience? Is that like looked good upon if you have some clinical experience, or do they just don't care really?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a lot of the schools that I applied to did require some clinical, like volunteer experience, like shadowing, observation kinds of experiences. USC, interestingly, did not require any of that. I remember talking to one of the admissions faculty, and they were telling me that it's like a good thing to have it, because then it could probably inform how you write your personal statement or just give you a better idea of OT. But they said that it wasn't a requirement, so technically a student wouldn't need it to get into USC specifically. But I'm sure I definitely do encourage, like, if potential prospective applicants are trying to apply to OT school, it's a great opportunity if they're able to find some volunteer experiences. And there's so many different like practice settings that they can do it in. So I think that's great. Although it might be harder right now because of the
Right,
whole
everything is
pandemic
hard.
situation. I know.
Everything is hard, like, as it relates to healthcare, or just in general, but
It
just,
really
oh
is.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Right now, literally, as I'm sitting in my office, there's a line outside of the gate of our clinic right now for people who want to get tested for COVID.
Oh my gosh.
Absurd.
Yeah,
It's
I
absurd.
know.
It
Yeah,
started,
this
it started like before Christmas, and we were like, okay, the holidays are coming. Hopefully, by the time New Year's here, it goes down. No, no.
no, it
It's
didn't. COVID
Omicron
was
is
like,
like, no.
I'm back. It's with a new
Omicron is like,
variant and everything.
underestimate me.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there like an entrance exam for OT entrance to get into a program, or just GRE, or nothing at all?
Yeah, it's the GRE.
So is it?
So yeah, so it's like the general graduate school
Mhm.
entrance exam. Some schools require it, some schools don't. But God, I hated the GRE so much actually.
I
I
am
just
with you on that.
yeah,
I mean, any test, any standardized test, it just,
yes,
uh it's
exactly.
a headache. It's more than a
Yeah.
headache.
Yeah, it was
Um
hard to like tell myself like this score doesn't define me, but at the same
yeah,
time, like my score isn't good like I feel like it wasn't good enough to like get me like where I wanted to be.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah, it's
think
one of those things, like it's easier said than done to
yes.
like believe, or easier said than believe, where it's like, okay, my grades don't define me, my grades don't are not who I am or anything, but it's
Yeah.
like, that intellectually, but emotionally you're like,
It's always like the back of your head, like
yeah,
this matters.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Um, so if you were to describe an occupational therapist to somebody who's never heard of the profession, what would you say?
Oh, yeah, this is like the $1 million question
Oh,
because occupational therapy is so new. Like oftentimes a lot of
mhm,
people don't know what it is.
yeah.
I um I would say that occupational therapy is a holistic healthcare profession
Mhm,
where we as occupational therapists can help people from really all walks of life. So
mhm,
across the lifespan, and just helping those people get back into doing the things that they want to be doing
mhm,
or are expected to be doing. And so those things that people want to get back into doing are considered occupations.
mhm.
It's really those meaningful activities. And as OTs, we really have a this sky is the limit capacity to like work with individuals on what their needs are and meet them where they're at, meet them in the middle. And one thing that really caught my attention with OT2 is that we can work in so many different practice areas. For
Mhm.
example, like adult rehabilitation, pediatrics, mental health, and that's really just to name a few. And I
Mhm.
appreciated that a lot, just to be able to explore the opportunities and test the waters of what suits me. Because I know
Right.
like at the beginning of OT school, I knew I wanted to do OT. I didn't have like a solidified idea of like what
What's
population I
setting?
wanted to work with, what practice setting I wanted to work in. So
Mhm.
that was cool to me. That was very interesting to have that.
So you guys can move from a setting to setting without having to get a certification or go back to school or anything like that.
Yeah,
That's
there's
amazing.
definitely some settings where you can do that. There's others where like it may require a certification, but there's
Mhm.
also like opportunities where you can kind of just do a switch if you feel
Right.
like it's a better fit for you.
Right.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of my favorite thing about physician assistant. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good, yeah, I feel like it's a
Yeah,
good thing.
yeah. It is like because to make a decision on what you want to do for the rest of your life when you're like in
Hmm.
your early 20s or teenager, it's absurd to me. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
know.
no,
Like
that's
I
too much
can't like for the
pressure.
rest of my life, I'm gonna be doing this one thing. They're like
Yes,
I like the fact that
yeah,
like PA
yeah,
and OT, like, okay, there's a chance that if I want to, I can try something new. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. So, what would you say are some challenges in your profession right now?
Oh, I guess this kind
If
of
anything, unless you guys are just living your best life, then that's fine.
I know. Actually, there's no challenges whatsoever. I guess this is kind of related to like how OT is still a growing new profession. Because I know when I was a master's student, I found myself confused at times about like what my role was when I was doing field work or like in those internship like clinical experiences. I wasn't sure how different I was compared to another profession at times. Like sometimes I felt like it was hard to define what OT was for myself, as well as to like other professional healthcare professionals that I was working with. That was a challenge for me, and I felt like that kind of echoed across the profession too, especially for the students. And so like for instance, like in my mental health field work, I feel like I wasn't sure what the difference between me and a social work student was, because I felt like we were doing the same things, but kind of after going through the courses and like discussing with the faculty that were teaching us, I realized that our special shtick is that we focus on occupations, and that's really like the key to our work. And I know it like takes some time to get to that realization, especially as a student, but by the end of it, I got to see how unique OT is and how special we can be when treating clients. And so no one else really does what we do, and the profession has done a lot since it was founded, like really a little over 100 years ago, which isn't a lot. Like that's still very new in comparison to other professions. But yeah, I think we're doing a lot of great work, and it's kind of like a growing process, as was like any other health profession that has grown today. And so I'm just,
Exactly.
yeah.
No, that is definitely across the board. Like things, I feel like a lot of things besides things like MD or nurses or even PT, a lot of us have to make sure we know, okay, what are we doing, what are we not doing, and the scope of practice have to be well known, especially when you find yourself in a room with other people. Not necessarily that you need to recite your scope of practice, but in that setting, I feel like it's important so that you can be like, okay, this is what I can do, and I know you can do it too. But if you have a hierarchy where you can do certain things that I cannot, then you can do those things, you know. And also sometimes we can get in the political setting in the workplace where hierarchy, where certain people with certain titles want to use those titles and tell you, oh, I'm this and you are that. You can be like,
Oh yeah.
but I can do that too, though, you know. So
right.
it's definitely useful to have those information. And that leads me to the next question: what other professionals are you working with as an OT, or you oftentimes working with?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I can answer this in respect to the fieldwork experiences I've had, like which like fieldwork experiences are they were just like short-term immersive
I'm guessing it's like
internships.
clinicals for us. You guys were in different
Yeah,
things, like how
essentially,
long?
yeah,
Yeah,
clinicals, yeah, as student experiences. And then so I've had the opportunity to like interact with physical therapists and like speech pathologists. I feel like those are oftentimes the most common ones that occupational therapists interact with. It's kind of that rehabilitation circle,
right.
as well as like from my experiences, like social workers, psychologists, surgeons, teachers, more. And like my interactions with them vary kind of between each profession. It also just depends like who I'm talking to, what the vibe is, that like that always kind of comes into play. And it was definitely a scary thing for me as a student in the beginning, partially because like I didn't have my own professional identity yet. Like I was still building on that. But I think it's really important to feel comfortable in your own in my own definition of OT, and when communicating with other professions, because sometimes they might not know what it is and what we do. But if we're confident and we have the knowledge and experience to advocate for our presence, then that definitely helps with the interaction. And yeah, I also just try to be nice, be open-minded. And I took those interactions as learning opportunities to see how I could collaborate with other health professionals.
You know, that's definitely the best way to go about it. As an OT, what are some leadership opportunities that may be available to you?
Yeah. Oh gosh. There's definitely a lot. I think I myself in the way future have like considered doing this kind of like as an aspiration of mine. But yeah, there's a lot. I think the more obvious ones are kind of serving on boards or committees of our professional organizations in OT. So that could be like the American Occupational Therapy Association, AOTA, or the Occupational Therapy Association of California, OTAC, or the World Federation of OT, WFIT. There's also organizations like the American Occupational Therapy Foundation, and there's just really a lot. And those are just like some organizations to name a few. And I think the leadership opportunities in those relate to more administrative leadership opportunities, not so much like direct patient care, but kind of working in like overseeing or like kind of working in the policy domain and kind of like figuring out how to advocate for OT, or just like what are the kind of like the pressing issues for the profession that we would need OT leadership in to kind of help support that. And I think there's also leadership opportunities if you're connected to a university program. Like leadership could also be like serving as faculty. And yeah, there's definitely a lot. I think it kind of comes down to a lot of connections. It's like it starts like oftentimes a lot of OT start as like working in patient care. And then it could come from something like wherever they're working, if they want to be put into leadership
Position.
Exactly, through the organization they're working in, or if they just like suddenly realize that they want to grow from patient care and they want to do more administrative work, then yeah, there's definitely that.
Okay. And for you, especially someone who's been as a student for a long time, and soon to transition into the professional setting, what is something you do to sort of alleviate the burnout that most of us healthcare professionals seem to feel, whether we're in school or in the clinic?
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's just burnout is just so inevitable, huh? It's like, I know like work-life balance for me has been like getting a little better. So I haven't during my time in the doctorate, I haven't felt too much stress, too much burnout, but I've definitely felt it before, especially in the master's program. And I can only imagine like what it'll be like once I start getting into the actual work of it. But how I handle it, I guess it's just a lot of self-care, just like doing the things that make me happy and making the time to be able to do those things, like hanging out with my friends or listening to music or just staying home and not doing anything at all. I think
is oftentimes underrated. That is like staying home and doing nothing is usually underrated. And people like me still learning to know how to do that. Because I'm one of those people, like when I have 5 minutes in the day, I'm like, what should I do in that?
Exactly. It's like go. Yeah, like I have to do something. This is time. This is like valuable time. Yeah. But I needed to get out of that mindset to thinking like doing nothing isn't like unproductive. Doing nothing can be productive. It could be like kind of regenerating your energy for yourself. To do other things. And yeah, I think that took a lot of reminding, because these days a lot of the times, like I think just like everyone really like just is always like have this mentality of go, have to be doing something.
You gotta grow, you gotta do this, you gotta get better in every aspect.
Exactly. Yeah, there's no time to waste.
And you know, it's New Year, so we all like I don't know, but I personally just forgo of making New Year resolution a long time ago. I'm just like, listen, I'm going to get better this year than I was yesterday. How? We don't know. We'll figure it. Okay, we have a big idea, but I'm not going to put all that pressure on myself and be like, from January 1st, you got to boom, 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 boom. It never works for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. In that same vein, though, what do you usually do for fun when you're not working or like in school?
I think, especially now, because I'm currently still on like winter break from school. I think it was just a lot of the doing nothing and just like spending time with family, spending time with friends. And I think like music is also very calming for me. So whether it's listening to it or playing music, I'm not very good, but I'm trying to learn the guitar, but I have not been I have not been very disciplined to like do it like every day, but it's fun for me to just try. Even like I don't have to be good at it. It's fun to even just do it. And yeah, other than that, it's just kind of, I feel like it's been hard to do like certain things just given the pandemic, but with what I've been doing, it's mostly just like relaxing and kind of spending this final winter break, because once I finish school, I'm never gonna get this again.
I know. It is, right. It's work, work, work.
Yeah.
And you jump into it, you're excited, especially as a new, I mean, I can speak from being not a new grad, but a new in my professions.
Right.
I was so excited when I finally got my license, and I was just like going and going and going. It was so hard for me to take that 1 week. This past week, I was like, okay, no. You know, we had a trip planned for New Orleans, and I was so tempted to just be like, you know what? Let me just go to work. But I knew my husband wouldn't let me, so I was just like, you know what? It's okay. I will take this week before I start working.
Yes, I'm glad you did.
And yes, it was so refreshing to just chill and eat and be merry, be happy, be joyful. And now I'm back in the stress of it. I'm still the line outside, and I'm like, I'm glad I took my week off. Like,
it was a good time to do it.
Yes, it really was. It really was. So do you have, I know you're soon to be a new grad, new in the profession. What are some of your like future professional aspirations?
I think, oh gosh, there's a lot. I think the first one really directly like more closer in time is just to graduate from this program. Graduate, get my degree, get the OTD degree. And after that, I think I do want to go into patient care, and specifically after kind of the clinicals that I've had and the experiences I've had in general in school, I really like working in outpatient upper extremity hand therapy settings. That has just kind of like really resonated with me. I like it a lot. I feel like I thrive in that kind of setting. So hopefully I can do work in like that kind of setting after I graduate. And then like previously, I know you mentioned like there's certifications and licenses. There is actually one for hand therapy, and it's the CHT, which is Certified Hand Therapist. And that one takes a while to get. I think it takes like a couple of years and a lot of experience to be able to have. And so that's like a long-term aspiration of mine to hopefully get. And other than that, I think I would eventually like to teach too. I would like to go back to like OT programs and just like teach the new generation. I found that especially at USC, I just love the faculty a lot. They were actually like very helpful and like very kind and very willing to kind of share their experiences. And it was very different for me coming from a public undergrad university where I sat in like huge lectures and I never talked to like any professor, like if not like one or two. So it was very different going into like a smaller class, like a smaller program. And that I think that a lot of them serve as like role models to me. So I thought that that would be really cool to be able to teach in the later future.
One question that is essentially going back a little because I want to highlight this is, and you mentioned it, I just want to sort of bolden it a little bit. What are some settings that OTs usually work in? Inpatient, outpatient, what is usually that setting you guys are in?
Oh gosh, there's so many. It's like beyond the limit. I think there's inpatient rehab for OTs, there's acute, there's pediatric settings, whether it's inpatient or outpatient. There's same goes for mental health, inpatient or outpatient. And then there's also emerging practice areas, which are essentially practice settings that aren't as common, aren't as well known for OTs to be practicing in. And that really spans from like working in primary care or working in community-based settings. And I think, again, that's like another reason I really love OT, is that we can like dip our feet into so many different areas and like provide our experiences and show our expertise to be able to like serve these populations. And there's definitely those. And I think with my clinicals specifically, I was in outpatient mental health, I was in outpatient pediatrics, and I was in outpatient hands. So I had a lot of outpatient experiences, but I have volunteered in like inpatient rehab in a hospital, and all of them really gave me good perspective to be able to see like what it's like to be, because it's one thing to be an OT, but like whatever setting you're in, it's so different. It's the workload, the pace, the population, the people you meet, the people you work with, it's always going to be so different. Yeah. So I'm grateful to have like gotten those experiences, because I think it gave me good insight into like what I want, what I feel comfortable in, what I feel like I'm good at. But yeah, there's definitely a ton. I think oftentimes common ones were really specific to like adult rehabilitation, pediatrics, mental health. Those are kind of the three that are like focused on.
Okay. And perhaps to leading to some of my last questions. We mentioned the master's degree and the doctorate degree, and I don't remember if we were talking about this before or after we started recording, but the doctorate is not required. Is that my understanding?
Yes, that's right. Currently, as of now, yeah.
Yeah, and so with you obtained the doctorate, or anybody who did get the doctorate, does that change anything in the work setting for you right now? Whether it's a responsibility or pay or patient load, what does that change with anything?
Yeah, I think I ask myself this question all the time too, and like I don't know like the full answer to it, but I do know that having an OTD degree, so having this doctorate in occupational therapy, can kind of open more doors. And so like I was saying, one of the aspirations I want to be doing is to be able to teach in the future. And I think by having this OTD degree, it really does increase my chances of being able to become like an educator in an institution for OT in the future, versus if I just had my master's. That doesn't necessarily mean someone with a master's can't teach, but I do think that having this degree kind of gives me that bonus point, or like gives me more of the experience, at least more of the leadership experiences and the overall just like clinical experiences, to be able to feel more grounded as an occupational therapist. Pay, I'm not sure. I would hope so. That would be great. But I'm really not sure if like what how that would affect kind of like in the actual patient care workforce. That's definitely a great question. I would love to look more into.
It's a question that I'm asking you, but also asking myself or other people in my side of the healthcare field as PAs, because we, as we were discussing before we started recording, we have similar thing where as right now I have a master's degree and I'm able to practice because I have my certification and everything. But if I want to, and I probably do in the future, get a doctorate degree, that's not required. But I have had a few of my faculties when I was in school who were PAs get their doctorate degree. And I asked them the same question, like, does it change how you're seeing your patient and, your essentially your way of practicing, and does it change your pay? And to us, at least the answer I got from the few people I asked was, no, not right now. But as we discussed, a lot of time when a higher degree is an option, a lot of time as the years progress, it becomes a preference and then it becomes a requirement, right?
Right.
So, and if nothing else, you do have that doctorate degree there, so that if it does become a requirement or it become a preference, you don't have to think about, oh my gosh, now I have to go back to school.
Right.
You're done with that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to. But I did also want to ask you, I know you went straight from your master's to your doctorate. Is
Right.
that the way it's usually done, or could you have practice and then go to your get your doctorate later if you wanted to?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I know like a lot of my friends actually that I did my master's with, they didn't go directly to the doctorate. And that's partially because they don't want it right now, or that kind of wasn't in their mindset of like getting,
Right.
or it's kind of like they wanted to get work experience for
Mm-hmm.
however long they feel like they need, and then they would think about coming back in the future.
Okay.
And there's like a lot of people do that. I think it's also like a great idea too,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people don't don't really like have a specific reason to be getting their doctorate, and that's
Mm-hmm.
totally fine. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with that. I think it's great to just go out into the workforce, like get more experiences, and then maybe while they're working they can see that they do want it, or if they don't
Right.
want it. I think
Mm-hmm.
it really just depends on the person, but
Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad we still have that choice right now.
Exactly. It's all
Yeah.
about the options, right? And
Yeah.
given the option, you either take it or you don't. You either take it now or you take it later. It's
Hmm.
really just to each their own. And
Right.
everyone has a reason for doing what they do.
Right.
Um, all right. So the last question is: do you have any advice for anybody who may want to become an OT?
Yeah. um Definitely when you get into OT school, just have fun. I think like a lot of like when I got into OT school, because it's like a graduate program,
Mm-hmm.
I stressed myself out for no reason. I feel like I always had to be on top of my game, which is a good thing, but I think it's also good to like take time to enjoy it, because it goes by so fast. It's like it really does, and you're not going to be able to get another winter break, like I said, or spend time with your classmates like the way you do in your classes.
Yeah.
And another thing is also like you don't always need an A in all of your classes. Just do what you can, pass the class. I think the more important thing is that you learn something, and that you
Yeah.
you get the takeaways and you're able to use what you learn like
Mm-hmm.
educationally into practice, or however you decide to like work in. And
Yeah.
um even though it's great to have like a grade to like justify like what you feel inside, it will never, I don't think it will ever justify what kind of OT you will be, the grades that
Yeah.
you get. So
Yeah.
um
That's very telling.
yeah.
I should have had that exactly in my ear every morning while I was in PA school, because
Hmm.
I didn't hear that advice. I was like, no.
I know.
And I didn't worry too much about my grades, but I was just like not as social, and I was just like, I think I only hung out with my
Yeah,
classmates like once or twice, because I was just like, I'm
I
stressed,
know.
and it's easier. And everybody told us, like the faculty especially told us, enjoy it, it's gonna go by fast. And of course,
Right.
every time they say that, we roll our eyes,
Right.
because we're like, please,
Exactly, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
the next time, we're graduated, we're like, oh my gosh, what
Yeah,
happened?
I
Like
know.
when you are in there, you don't believe it, and then it's like next thing you know, you snap your fingers and it's done, and you're like, they
Yeah.
were right, they were
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
right.
like that late realization, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, I really wish like we heard about it, but I
yeah,
didn't take it seriously to like really enjoy my time. But like,
yeah. And of
yeah.
course, for those of us who are COVID graduates, it's like by the time even you didn't even get to enjoy your graduation, really. So it's like, oh my gosh.
I know. Yeah.
So no, that is definitely great advice. Calvin, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate having you on. Happy New Year.
Yes. Happy New Year.
And
Yeah, happy
happy
New.
almost being a doctor. Thank you, thank
Thank you
you.
so
And
much.
soon you will be a doctor, and we might have you back on and be like, how is the workforce? Tell us,
Definitely.
spill the tea, okay?
Happy to share.
But again, thank you, and have a beautiful rest of your week.
Thank you so much, Nanan. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Here's the answer for the day, okay? The first educational program was created in 1915, so the answer was C. So around 1915, Eleanor Clark Slagle organized the first educational program for occupational therapists. and now she is known as the mother of occupational therapy. That's it. Cheers. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you. Please subscribe, follow, like, comment, and share. And stay blessed. Bye.